When the rumor started that Arsenal wanted to sign Noni Madueke, I came on here to make a video on how Noni Madueke would fit into the Arsenal setup, right? And a lot of people were arguing, saying, oh, this and this, but the deal has gone through. Madueke is an Arsenal player right now. So, and I just briefly want to talk about, once more, I want to talk about how Noni Madueke can fit the Arsenal setup. Now, I'm doing this because I love Noni Madueke. Because I love him. Yeah, I mean, it's not a known fact. It's not an hidden fact, I mean to say. Now, Noni Madueke moving to Arsenal could be a game changer for Arsenal. Of course, it doesn't mean, or it does not mean that Arsenal would win the Premier League or win the Champions League because Noni Madueke joined them. No, far from that. It just means that Arsenal can take a step forward. Take a step forward with Noni Madueke being in that setup for them. And I think that it would be much better than Gabriel Martinelli in one specific area. You see, when Arsenal attack very quickly, which is called transition play, so when Arsenal hits you on the transition, right? Which and if you don't know transition play is when a team win the ball and immediately they try to score before the other team can organize their defense and settle in. You see, Madueke will provide such a bigger threat than Martinelli in these transition situations. Why? Because Madueke is a very much more powerful runner. When Madueke gets the ball and he starts running, right, it's really difficult to stop him. He's fast, he's strong, and he's direct. Defenders struggle to catch up with him, or they also struggle to push him off the ball. Playing on the left wing will actually make Noni Madueke even more dangerous. How? Because it forces him to play more direct. I mean, we saw a glimpse of it under Enzo Maresca at Chelsea. When Madueke gets the ball on the left, he has to run towards the goal. He cannot just pass it sideways or backwards. That means he will be consistently attacking the opposition defenders. Now, here is how Arsenal will use him. Players like Bukayo Saka, players like Martin Odegaard, right? They can cut inside with the ball. Then they will release Madueke on the other side because, you know, Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard, they play the right side. Then they will now release, when they cut inside, they will release Madueke on the left side, which is the other side, with a pass, and it will run straight at goal, right? This is exactly how Hansi Flick uses Lamine Yamal, how Hansi Flick uses Rafinha. One player throws defender inside, then finds the other player in space to attack, especially Rafinha. Madueke can do two things really well for Arsenal. First, if they want a backup for Bukayo Saka, then no problem. He can play that role perfectly. But I honestly don't think Arteta spent around 50 million for Madueke for him to come and become a backup. I don't see it happening. Right? But secondly, and more importantly, right, if they want an incredibly powerful and direct threat from that left wing, then Madueke is perfect. He can be dangerous with the ball and he can be dangerous without the ball. Without the ball, he can run behind the opposition defense. With the ball, he can dribble past defenders and create chances. Now, that is one possibility. There is another possibility which I talked about in my very first video when the rumor started that Noni Madueke was going to join Arsenal. And the possibility is that Mikel Arteta moves Saka to the left-hand side and Noni Madueke plays the right-hand side. Now, when I made that video, then a lot of Arsenal fans, they came for me, they were like, oh, it's not happening and everything. But that is a possibility that could happen. Of course, probably, maybe you guys are right, maybe it would happen, but it's a possibility that will happen. But the only reason why I think it will not happen is because Madueke is more powerful when it comes to running than Saka. I mean, put Madueke and Saka. Madueke is a more powerful runner than Saka. And on that left-hand side, I feel like Mikel Arteta would prefer to have a powerful runner. So that is why I believe Mikel Arteta would likely use Madueke on that left-hand side than Bukayo Saka. If not for other than that, right, Madueke would have taken over the right wing and Saka would have been pushed to the left wing, right? And I also think that Saka would actually score many more goals from that left wing than the number of goals he's scoring from the right wing. If you put Saka on the right wing, let's say maybe Saka scores maybe 10 goals, 15 goals on the right wing. If you move Saka to the left wing, I reckon that he can get up to 20 goals on that left wing. If you move to the left wing, I reckon that he can get up to 20 EPL goals. Because I don't think, has he ever gotten up to 20 EPL goals? I don't think he has ever gotten up to 20 EPL goals in his career anyways. So, because the reason why I'm saying that is because if Saka is on that left wing, right, he will be cutting inside from that position and he will be shooting. And we all know that Saka is great at doing all those sides. However, like I mentioned earlier, because of the fact that Madueke is a more powerful runner, the likely scenario is that Madueke will be on the left and Saka will stay on the right. This will give Arsenal best of both versions. Meanwhile, Saka can continue to do what he's doing on the right. creating chances and crossing the ball and working with Martin Odegaard, who I believe is holding Arsenal back, but that's another story. Meanwhile, Madueke will bring something completely different on the left-hand side, raw power, direct running, and a constant threat to score, right? This would make Arsenal's attack even much more balanced. They will have creativity on the right with Saka, and then they will have power on the left with Madueke. Defenders would have to deal with two completely different type of threats. Some games, Saka might be the main danger. Other games, it might be Madueke. I think that this signing of Madueke makes perfect sense for Arsenal. I think it even makes perfect sense for Arsenal than the signing of Gyökeres, right? Because Arsenal, with Madueke, they are getting a player who can immediately improve their transition play and give them a new dimension in attack. Madueke's powerful running will be perfect for the Premier League. I mean, he already understands the Premier League. He's used to the Premier League. I mean, he played in Premier League with Chelsea and all that, right? And I believe that it will cause problem for any defense that he fixes.